We're having some Kentucky Peerless. We're live with John Wadell, live from the distillery. And of course, if you watch Bourbon Blog much, you know what a big fan I am of Peerless, the bourbon, the rye, the small batch, the single barrel. And one of the amazing things, which I know, John, and I think you're going to help us all understand, is just how incredible Peerless also is in a cocktail, right, John?
Oh, it's absolutely amazing. You know, some people may shade away from using something a little bit more expensive, but you know what I say, if you buy it, you enjoy it how you want it. And I love making cocktails with our product.
Well, I think that's so important to mention, because as we look at, you can use a variety of whiskeys, of course, to make your holidays or any cocktails, but truly the finer ingredients you use, the better taste at the end of the day on a cocktail. And I'm amazed, just, think about whether it's your classic old fashions, Manhattans, Sazeracs, just how great both the rye and the Peerless bourbon are. But you have kind of some new cocktails.
Yeah.
And you work on cocktails. That's part of what you do. You do a variety of things there at the distillery. What do you do?
Yeah, so I am our single barrel curator here. So that basically means when barrels come of age after, the maturation process, I get to go through, pull samples, and then I get to sit down with a panel of myself, Caleb, our master distiller, and Nick Clee, one of our other distillers here, and we get to taste through all these. I'll help find the ones that are really unique, have special notes to them, or we like to call them our little Easter egg barrels, and they'll go into our single barrel program, and then I'll do selections with groups from all over the place, bars, restaurants, etc. And then I do our mixology here too as well, which I'm no bartender by any means, but I have a fascination with cocktails, and we like keeping things in-house. So they have really kind of let me just run with this. So a lot of drinking, basically, I guess you could say, is in my job title. But with that being said, come on in. I'll give you a tour. I'll mop the floors. I don't care.
You do it all, and you do such a great job. And we were there just a couple weeks ago as you all rolled out, and I'll tell the friends watching who are big fans of your single barrels, which I know if you're a fan of Peerless and you've had the single barrels, you know just how amazing they are. We were so lucky to try with you all the Lucky Kentucky Julep, the Low and Slow, your new Rye Cherry Cola, and the new Manhattan, the Blood Orange Manhattan. Old Fashioned.
Yeah.
And I meant Blood Orange Old Fashioned. Again, these are the names you give to the single barrels. Do you all still have some of those left?
Yeah, we do. We have Small Business Saturday coming up where you can actually go online and purchase some of our single barrels. And we have a couple other new ones. We have the Wolf of Rye Street. Got to check that one out. What an awesome label on there. Kind of starts off a little soft, a little sweet, but in the end, it comes with a nice little spice, a little heavy on the mouth feel. We just thought it was a great name. We also have a great name. This one's very pleasing. Smoked Chocolate and Cherries. The name kind of describes itself on that one right there, and it is absolutely fabulous.
Tastes like smoked chocolate and cherries.
And then I don't know if you had these two, Tom, but we got the Beekeeper. Very nice, sweet honey, a little bit of clove spice in there.
Yep.
And then we also have what we like to call our Double Oak 3. So this is the third Double Oak that we put out. Man. It's in a 750 though, rather than a 200 ml. And we have a limited number signed by our master distiller Caleb Kilburn right there. If you order offline, and we have curbside pickup, or you can come inside, whatever makes you feel safe.
Right. No, it's an incredible single barrel series. And I even saw you and Caleb. As I entered the distillery a couple weeks ago, you all were already there going through and really tasting through these. You all really find some barrels that they're all beautiful, but some that really stand apart for this series, don't you?
We do. I love, that's honestly, with everything I do here, that's one of my favorite things to do because, as we are tasting through these barrels, you got to think you're tasting history. I mean, these are, 100-year-old trees that you get to taste through that we're pulling the flavor from. Inside these barrels. And that's the way I like to look at it too as well, which I just find fascinating.
It's incredible. It's incredible what you've done. And for your cocktails, okay, so we actually have, for those who've been, because people have been tweeting and asking, what are some good cocktails we can make for the holidays? These are some cocktails that actually have some Thanksgiving theme that you can try. So if you're watching this, first of all, thanks for watching Bourbon Blog Live. Make sure you retweet this, share this with your friends. We're already having a little happy hour here on a Tuesday. Which one do you want to make first, the rye one or the bourbon one?
Let's start with the rye. And by the way, if you are not following Tom Fisher, you need to follow this man. This guy knows his stuff. He's great. Cigars, whiskey, whatever you need, you can reach out to Tom, man. He's awesome.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it. You guys are too. We're
going to start off with our rye whiskey. I love rye. I kind of like it a little bit more than bourbon. You know, some people give me that crazy look when I tell them that, but I love a good rye whiskey. So we're going to start off with some Peerless small batch barrel strength. Everything we do is barrel strength, so you're going to notice we're going to have different proofs depending on batches and single barrels. We don't chill filter, and we use a strictly sweet mash in our process too. That's going to really allow that grain to kind of come forward. You know, we're not using the spent water grains off the still. So in the end, you know, we come off our still around 130 proof. We proof everything down to 107 with water first. Then we put it in the barrels and let it age. And to give you an idea, that means our water becomes an ingredient, not a dilution in this process. Wow. But we're going to start off with our Peerless small batch rye. And I'm going to do a cocktail I like to call Friendsgiving. It's kind of a little bit of a spinoff of another cocktail kind of called New Friends. But we're going to start off. What you're going to want is a mixing glass for this one. And anything works, you know, a beer glass, whatever you got at home that you can put some ice in and get that going. And what you want to do is we're going to start by throwing some ice into here. And I always like to add my alcohol in last, so I'm going to start with a couple other ingredients here. So the first thing we're going to be adding in here is this Coche Americano. Basically, this is an aperitif. So you could kind of use this cocktail for after you stuff your face on Thanksgiving, you're sitting around with some family or friends, whoever you're with, to really kind of help that food digest and start your way to an even better dessert in your Thanksgiving meal. But what you want to do is we're going to start off by adding 1 ounce of this into our mixing glass.
Excellent. So 1 ounce of that Coche, and that Coche is delicious stuff. Does an amazing job.
Usually, traditionally, I believe it's served over ice with like an orange peel to really bring out some of the fruitier characteristics in it. And then one of my favorite ingredients, Aperol. This is good stuff. It's got a nice citrus note to it. And I could drink this stuff right out of the bottle. And we're going to add 1 ounce of this as well into our mixing glass.
Excellent. So it's 1 ounce of each of those. So that keeps it pretty simple. 1 and 1.
Now, with your alcohol, once again, we are using a barrel strength. But before we put the alcohol in there, one thing that separates this cocktail, it's really just one ingredient. I'm going to use freshly squeezed lemon juice in here. Now, with your lemon juice, especially being like fresh, and that's going to make the difference in your cocktail. I know a lot of people like to go out buy store-bought, but I'm just telling you, just squeeze the lemon juice yourself. It will make a huge difference in this cocktail. But you only want a small ounce or a small amount. You only want like a 1/4 ounce of your lemon juice in there, just enough to kind of let that acidic kind of cut through some of this.
Very nice. So one of each of the, well, you're doing just a 1/4 ounce of the lemon, and then you're doing one of each of those.
Now, when it comes to
you had the lemon juice already in one of those 200 ml Peerless bottles. That's,
yeah. You know, I love these. I use these for simple syrup, everything around here, and luckily they're nice enough to let me use them too.
Very good.
Now, when it comes to your spirit, keep in mind we are using barrel strength, so it is going to be a little stronger. So you can sometimes cut back on the amount that you want to do. But me personally, I love a good stiff cocktail. You can already see we already got, you know, basically 2 other boozes in here. But I'm going to use 2 ounces. Now, I would suggest start off with 1 ounce if you're at home at first and you're not sure if you've never had our product. But like I said, I like to just dive right in. I'm going to put 2 ounces of it in here. My suggestion is start off with maybe 1 ounce or 1.5 ounces and go from there. Because you can always add more alcohol in. And it's usually the most expensive ingredient that you're going to use in your cocktail. So that's why we say add it in last. But we're just going to mix this up right here. About 15, 20 seconds. I like to get it nice and mixed in, good and cold. And once again, you can serve it in any glass, but I like to use a traditional little coupe glass right there is what traditionally calls for.
Excellent. That's what I got. I already made mine because I knew I would be watching you make yours. So it is delicious. There.
And then for your garnish, so before I pour it into my glass and let it sit for a second, I'm going to go ahead and get me a little orange or a little lemon peel here for our garnish. So what we're going to do next is strain this right into our coupe glass. Now, one thing I do like to double strain. This just helps catch any of the smaller pieces of ice or any chunks from mixing it up. And it's just right into your glass there.
Lovely.
But it's got a nice color to it. And the aroma is just amazing coming off of here. And you're just going to take your little lemon peel like that. Squeeze those oils all into there.
Yeah.
Pop it right in. And cheers.
Cheers, John. And quite a cocktail called the Friendsgiving. Already quite a few Peerless fans making some comments here. And thank you all for watching us on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube. Don Snyder, who I know is a big fan of yours, says the Peerless Bourbon and Rye are very with some of the Orlando whiskey enthusiasts. So we know that Donald knows his whiskey and enjoys yours as well. And our friend from Louisville, from Bourbon's Bistro there, Jason Bronner, says, way to go, son. Hey, Tom, be easy with the boy. So.
I love Jason. Jason's such a good guy. So real quick off topic, we were doing Jason, great Bourbon Bistro. If you get a chance, support your local restaurants right now. But I went to an eggnog. He makes killer eggnog. If you want to have some of the best eggnog, and he doesn't cheap on the alcohol. He uses Stag Junior in his eggnog, if that tells you anything. But amazing eggnog.
Excellent. No, he really is. He does a great job. All right. So we also have another friend from Peerless that we're going to bring on to the show here. Happy to introduce to you, if you're a Peerless fan, you probably already know him. It's Global Marketing and Strategy Director, Cordell Lawrence. How's it going, Cordell?
Going great. It's a beautiful holiday season here in Louisville, for sure. How are you guys doing? Looks like John's making some fantastic cocktails, as always.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And you both have a great backdrop, might I say. You know, Cordell's underneath the Christmas tree.
That's right.
Sipping on a little Peerless. That's definitely good to have under the Christmas tree. And John, you're there at the distillery, which is always an amazing experience to be at the distillery there in that bar room you have there. It's a very special place.
I have all the alcohol I need here. Why would I ever want to leave, Tom?
Maybe you haven't left since I last saw you. Have you been there?
You know, we have sleeping quarters there, Tom, only for John.
I got to keep an eye on these barrels, you know.
You're watching closely. So what are you all both looking forward to as friends are still able to visit in some capacities, as enthusiasts, visitors to Louisville can come by, especially during the holidays? What are you all looking forward to most of all at the distillery?
You know, I always enjoy just people using it as a kind of annual tradition as well. A lot of people that have out-of-town family or even in-town family, they make it a tradition to come the day after Thanksgiving or the Saturday after, which is also Small Business Saturday.
Right.
Supporting family-owned and operated businesses within Louisville, like John mentioned about Bourbon's Bistro as well.
Right.
Support anything we can. So that's what I enjoy most, is just seeing that kind of reunion of families coming together. And we just have to be the fortunate people that get to host that reunion and are coming together a family. So always a lot of fun.
Right. What do you like about it, John?
I love seeing the as Cordell kind of say, you know, the tradition, the people that came in here last year that come back again this year just to see what we're up to. That's really the best part about it. And then the new ones that, you know, that come in here have never been here. And I'm just glad we're still able to offer a little something for everyone that's still trying to be safe, but, you know, also still get out a little bit because they don't want to be at home with the in-laws or anything like that, or whatever they're trying to get out of.
That's right.
That's incredible. And it is such a special family, and it's a place that you can go into and you can meet everyone, and you can meet John and Cordell and Caleb and Corky, Carson. I mean, the whole gang, everybody there. It is a family there. It's the importance of visiting a family-owned small business, which is so special.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people forget that, or just don't realize that when you come in here, what you see is what you get. I mean, we are grain to bottle. We cook here, we distill here, we bottle here. Right behind this wall, I have close to 2,000 barrels aging right here on site in our rick house. So it's always nice for people to come in here, and whether they've had it in California, Texas, they get to come here and actually see where the bourbon and whiskey is actually made.
Yes, yes, it is, and I hear people say it is among their favorite distillery experiences that come from across the country that have been lucky enough to try it outside of Kentucky, or maybe they're trying it for the first time, and what a special thing that it is. And again, if you are in Louisville or you're heading that way and you want to order your single barrels or any of your other whiskey online before you visit on Saturday or really any day leading up to the holidays, that's the address down there. There's always something special that's being offered, and what you all have done, obviously, with your small batch releases are delicious. As we're seeing how delicious they are in a cocktail. I've had it in mini cocktails, but it's the first time I've had this cocktail, and I love it. I think it's just really dynamite. Whether you're doing the small batch or you're doing one of the single barrels,
That's right.
I'm always impressed that after you release one great release of single barrels, here you are now online. You have some other great ones out for the holidays.
Well, we're always trying to improve. You know, we like to say we stay pretty humble. We're always looking for that, or at least I'm always looking for that next special single barrel. And same with Caleb too. You know, we put a lot of pride and just love into what we do down here.
And I'm fortunate enough right now to just open and crack the seal on a bottle of the Double Oak.
Excellent.
So one of our special releases we just announced today.
Excellent. And you've had the Double Oak. I know I tried some last year and I thought it was amazing. Is this going to be more of an annual release for you all, the Double Oak, then?
Potentially road. Right now, it's still as we have happy accidents, as we like to say. First barrels and we rebarrel, and then John and Caleb go through that handful of ones that have been rebarreled and picks that exceptional barrel to become Double Oak, but possibly down the road. So stay tuned.
Excellent. As we look towards, I mean, obviously these cocktails are incredible, and we're going to have you make this other one with the bourbon in a moment. But as we look forward to Thanksgiving, you're thinking about Thanksgiving meal, and if we're going to pair Peerless with, I mean, I think there's arguments to be made for either the bourbon or the rye, maybe some of both. Which are you going to go to when it comes to just a traditional turkey dinner?
You know,
Each of you, do you have a?
The way that I look at it, Tom, that's a great question. I really like to pair bourbon with any savory dishes, just because bourbon would be more towards the sweet side of things.
Right.
So, say a nice turkey dish or a nice corn pudding. Whereas rye, I would really pair more the sweet side of things. Maybe that's a cranberry and orange relish. Maybe that's something like a pecan pie or a pumpkin pie. That way you kind of have the complementary flavor profiles.
Absolutely. No, I think you're spot on. You could start out with the rye or the bourbon for the meal, and then you could go into the rye for dessert. I think that's very well said. These just being incredible pairings for all types of dishes. And, I loved all the single barrels that I tried a few weeks ago with you. One of my favorites, which I think really, is for a Kentucky theme for people that like some great savory barbecue, was this Low and Slow. And the flavors, I just poured a little sip of that. The flavors on this, the flavor tasting notes, I remember, Cordell, when you were first telling me about it before I even arrived, burnt ends, toasted oak. There is this beautiful, deep, low and slow is the term that the pit masters use. This has this great barbecue, smoky, but sweet note on it.
If I could keep one barrel, like selfishly, that would have been the barrel. Like I love that single barrel. It's one of those ones where you kind of tear up, and I've watched it through the whole process. I've watched it age, be dumped, bottled, just kind of saying my last goodbyes as I see it go out the door and being enjoyed by many.
John and I were actually at dinner at Jason's place, Bronner's place, bistro on Saturday night. John was smart and brought a bottle of Low and Slow, and it was the hit of the night. I don't think that bottle left, did it?
By the time I left, we're talking like a short span of like 2 or 3 hours. The whole thing was gone, just completely gone. So it was kind of sad, but I loved, people coming around and saying, "Oh, what is that? Can I have a pour?" I'm like, absolutely. And that's what and like Cordell said, that's what we really love and enjoy, watching people try it for the first time and seeing their excitement about it.
We also had Bill Thomason from Jack Rose Dining Saloon in DC, and that was his favorite single barrel he's ever enjoyed at Peerless.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Right. Oh, amazing. That's great. And so it really is. And again, all of them incredible. The 10th Street Tiki. We got several bottles in front of us here. The Lucky Kentucky Julep. So many really interesting notes on all these, but that low and slow is really something very special. Those notes, the way it comes across, and again, many distilleries we think about, well, they may only release something kind of limited or different from their collection once or twice a year, but with Peerless, every time I come back, or I even come back virtually, you have something new, don't you?
Yeah, like I said, we like to give the people what they want. They come in here, we can't help it that they buy up anything we put out. But like I said, Caleb, our master distiller, does a great job of tasting and making sure we always have something special here. Because like I said, we are a smaller distillery. We only make 10 to 12 barrels a day here. We don't have a 1,000 barrels a day production. But, we do the best we can, and we try to find those most unique barrels to put out to really show people the flavor profiles that you can pull out of these barrels.
And if you ever want to really dive into the nuance of, the flavor profiles and the complexity you have in these single barrels, I recommend highly that you read Caleb's individual tasting notes. John can attest to that as well. He is very precise and descriptive in what he puts out there. And we try to post those as often as possible to the website, KentuckyPeerless.com, to make sure those are updated. But always a great pleasure reading through those.
It's like poetry, reading his tasting notes.
Emotion.
It absolutely is. And again, the website to log on to, KentuckyPeerless.com. And then if you want to order some ahead of time and you're within Kentucky, they can have them ready for you. And again, make sure if you're in Louisville, visit them over the holidays or on Small Business Saturday. You have something else there, John. You have another cocktail that you're unveiling here for the Thanksgiving season.
Yeah, and this will go perfectly with what Cordell likes. This one's gonna be one that you could have also with like that savory kind of meat. This one is called a maple cranberry smash. And honestly, it is one of my favorite cocktails I've ever done here too as well. So the trick to this one is you're going to start off, you're going to need to make some simple syrup. And it's super easy. You're just going to take maple syrup. You're going to throw it in a saucepan. You're going to take fresh cranberries. You're going to put them in there with it. And you're just going to bring it to a boil till your cranberries start popping in there. It's really short. It takes about 5 minutes to heat it up. Once you get that done, you take it off, strain out your cranberries. But I like leaving a couple of them in here with my simple syrup. Let it chill overnight, and then you got your maple cranberry simple syrup. So what you're going to do is, now this one is made with our Peerless small batch bourbon. This one's 107.5 proof that we have here.
Wow.
But as the last one, we needed a mixing glass. This one's actually going to call for a cocktail shaker that we have here. So I'm going to give me some ice in here. Got that right there. And I'm going to go ahead and get me some ice in my rocks glasses too, and let that sit. Now, to start this off, you're going to take your simple syrup. We're going to get a ½ ounce of simple syrup into our cocktail shaker here.
Very nice. So if you already have the cranberries for Thanksgiving, this is just another use for them.
Exactly. Don't let anything go to waste.
Isn't this what they call upside, right, Tom?
That's no, it is. It is. Use every part of it you can.
Yes.
So we got that in there. Next, you're going to start off by grabbing what I got here. Cranberry juice right here. And once again, it's going to be a little bit of a pain, but if you freshly squeeze it, it just gives a whole different feel and taste to your cocktail. But with cranberry juice, I feel like you go either way. You can freshly squeeze it or buy the store bought it. This one doesn't make too much of a difference. It really just depends on your palate there. But we're going to start off by putting an ounce of cranberry juice in there. Lastly, we're going to take our Peerless small batch bourbon. Now, like I said before, I like a good stout cocktail. So I'm going to go ahead and add my 2 ounces of Peerless small batch bourbon in there. Oh, I can smell the maple syrup and everything just pouring out of the cocktail shaker.
Now,
pop that top on there. And we're just going to shake the heck out of this thing.
Yeah.
See it get nice, good, and frosty around the outside there. Pop that top off. This one's going to be another one you want to double strain just because you may have little chunks of cranberry. But if you like that, by all means. Now, almost forgot. After you boil your simple syrup with the cranberries, save all those cranberries, put them right in there, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to get me a nice little spoonful of these maple cranberries that have been soaking overnight. I'm just going to drop a couple right there into the rock glass, right in there. Then we're going to strain our cocktail.
Adds to the color, adds to the beauty of the cocktail.
Absolutely. And once again, this is going to be one of those ones you want to double strain just to catch any of those smaller pieces of ice that may make it through your first strainer. See, it's got a nice color to it. Then lastly, we're going to take our orange peel that we have here. Get your little orange peel. Now, before you throw your orange peel in here.
This one's called what? The name of this cocktail?
The Maple Cranberry Smash.
The Maple Cranberry Smash. Very nice. Somebody asked.
And then I like a little bubbly too. So you can see that you got a little bit right there. You just want to add. Oh, does anybody else see that?
The magic of live TV.
Add just a splash of seltzer water there.
Very nice.
All over your bar, whichever one you prefer. I don't know, man. Orange right in there. Cheers.
Great. Cheers, John. Looks like an amazing cocktail there.
God, that's good.
Wow. So nice. And whether it's by itself or with in a cocktail, Peerless Bourbon and Rye is just is really some of the best whiskey you'll ever taste. And I can attest to this. I've poured this for many, many people around the country on our whiskey tour. There's always such a positive response on Peerless, giving depth and flavor and just notes that you really don't find in other whiskeys. The bourbon, what is it? Are you celebrating just a little over? Is it only been out a little bit over a year and a half? Is that right?
That's right. It was June of 19, June 22nd.
Right. And you're in more and more markets as far as with the bourbon and the rye?
Correct. So about 42 states with rye and 18 states with bourbon.
Excellent. So it's getting out there more and more places, and the more we share it on Bourbon Blog, the more we have people give us feedback and say they were able to find it. They've tried it for the first time. Obviously, for those that enjoy watching Cigar Saturday on Bourbon Blog Live, you know, I'm always enjoying pairing a good cigar with either the rye or the bourbon or one of the single barrels from Peerless. And it's not just cigars. I know many of you enjoy cigars, but it's any kind of pairing you have, just that depth of flavor, just really, it makes it just really pop that much more. Another of the single barrels that I tried, and I loved them all, but another one that I really enjoyed a few weeks ago with y'all, Cordell and John, was the 10th Street Tiki, and this being the rye. Now, this one actually has some real it's a candied ginger, tropical notes, something that you're not really expecting in a rye whiskey, right?
Yeah, very true. I mean, hence the you're talking about the Rye Cherry Cola. Is that the one? No, the 10th Street
I love the
Tiki.
rye. I have that one close by. The Rye Cherry Cola is amazing. The 10th Street Tiki, but I do have the Rye Cherry Cola close by too.
I love the 10th Street Tiki. You know, it's not a normal tasting note that we usually get, so that's one was pretty fascinating to us. It's got a nice heavy agave feel to it, which I really like. I'm all about some fruity tiki drinks. So that one was one of my favorite ryes that we've actually done through here.
Yes.
I really like about all of them.
I will show this one too, since you mentioned Rye Cherry Cola. Just delicious. That one was also very tasty with a good deep cigar. I'll also mention, speaking of cigars and folks watching us from across the country, our friend Tommy of Davidoff of Tampa is watching. He's
Tommy,
giving you a shout out. So cheers, Tommy. Nice to see you watching. So many good friends, Jason and Tommy and Anthony is watching as well. And we also see Bourbon Bites. Thank you, Bourbon Bites on YouTube. Has a single barrel order of Peerless Rye that he's ordered through Total Wine. Thank you for that. So many great people watching that are fans of Peerless. And it's so much fun. It's so much fun to be with like-minded whiskey fans that all enjoy Peerless, trying some great new cocktails and whiskey. And we will put both of these cocktails up on Bourbon Blog so that everyone can try them at home over Thanksgiving. Other cocktails, other styles of cocktails, John, that you enjoy making with Peerless?
Sazeracs are one of my favorite too that we do here, but I love absinthe, so I can never get enough of it. But gosh, where do I start? I mean, at home I have a book about this big, just full of cocktails. I mean, I could go. I've never met a cocktail I didn't like, I guess I would say. So when it comes to Peerless, I say the sky's the limit. There's so many things I've experimented and done with our Peerless, just because, once again, it's a barrel strength. So no matter what cocktail I feel like you're going to do, our Peerless still shines through in that cocktail, and it complements it rather than getting covered up by the ingredients and stuff like that you usually use.
Right. Absolutely.
Elaborate on the Gold Rush cocktail. That's been a popular one of late.
Yeah, so we do a Gold Rush. If you haven't been there, the Gold Bar here in Louisville does a great job, too, of making cocktails. So once again, support your local businesses if you can. But Gold Rushes are very easy. It's a simple syrup that you're going to use with honey, lemon juice. And then I like to do what I call a bloody Gold Rush. I love cherry juice, so I like to put a little bit of cherry juice on top after you mix it in with a little bit of nutmeg sprinkled right on there. And that's just a fabulous cocktail. Once again, it's really just about finding what flavors work together. But with that being said, you never know until you mix it. I mean, it's really about trial and error when it comes to your cocktails.
Yes, absolutely. And so many great cocktails. And John, you're really talented guy, an amazing palate there as you pick out those single barrels and also create some new cocktails for us. And it's exciting to bring these to everyone. And if for some reason you are joining us midway through, this video will be up permanently on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. Make sure that you subscribe to wherever you are watching from. I see Kim Waltrip joining us. Thank you, Kim, for watching. So many great friends that I know that I've shared Peerless with that have experienced it everywhere from Palm Springs to Kentucky. So thanks to all those great friends joining us. Also, make sure that you are subscribed to our podcast at anchor.fm/Bourbon Blog. We will have the audio of this up very shortly after the video cast. And again, if you are close by to Louisville, the place to go to find out which single barrels and whiskeys you can buy is that website, KentuckyPeerless.com/online. Cordell, John, what a pleasure to have you guys. It really is. Usually we do this a little bit later, but hey, this is the perfect way to have a Tuesday afternoon. I'm glad we could do this a little bit earlier for this audience and for all of your fans. And hopefully we'll be seeing you all again very, very soon for a glass of whiskey, whether it's virtually or in person. We always enjoy hanging out with you guys.
Same here, Tom. We always like to call this a Peerless hour. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And say that once again.
Just saying, looking forward to seeing you and Annabelle soon.
Absolutely. Oh no, we really look forward to it as well. And I'm going to try making the other cocktail here again in a little while, John. Great hat, by the way, John. I like that.
Thank you. I've been getting really big into hats here lately, so I got about 4 or 5 good solid hats right now. But I appreciate that. Thank you.
It just helps the cocktails, I think, if you put that on when you're making the cocktails, right?
Right. And shout out real quick. I know you mentioned Tommy was watching. Just speaking of Friendsgiving and everything, shout out to Tommy at Cronin Cigar Bar. So I've known that man for over a year through emails. And when I met him for the first time a couple months ago, it was like we knew each other the whole time. I mean, just such a great guy that they're doing down there at Cronin Cigar Bar in Davidoff, too.
And I also wanted to mention, too, definitely highly recommend that you follow John here and also on Instagram. So a lot of behind-the-scenes barrel processing, bottling, grading of barrels, things you normally don't get a sneak peek of from distilleries. He offers that in spades, so I highly recommend.
It is an incredible account you have. I just want to make sure I put up the right one. What is your account there on Instagram?
It's a Sir_J Wadell. Yeah, thank you, Cordell. Hats off to Cordell, and then they've really been helping me. You know, I know sometimes they're probably like, please don't post that. And I'm like, all right. You know, so hats off to them. I know it's a work in progress, but I love to have fun, and I just love showing people a more of a different side of the whiskey world and industry. So, yeah, please follow me. Any requests, let me know.
Your photos have been epic, especially when you have like a bunch of bottles in front of you and a cigar or a whiskey. I mean, your photos are a lot of fun. So you've done a good job.
It's so much fun taking them. You know, a couple drinks in you, and you start messing around, and it's one of the biggest things that I really enjoyed here lately.
Well done to you both, Cordell. You're doing a great job there in what you do too in the marketing and global strategy. So great job on getting this amazing whiskey out to the masses across the globe. So great job to you as well, Cordell.
Appreciate it.
Cheers, everyone, and thanks all to all those that are Peerless fans, Bourbon Blog fans. Thanks all, and have a happy and safe Thanksgiving. And thanks, Peerless, for joining us today.
Cheers, everyone. Thanks, Tom, for having us.
Cheers. Thanks.